focus on Liberia. Hit it! From Cape Mount to Cape Palmer, Mount Nimba to Atlantic Ocean, Obomi Hills to Boakai, to educate, elevate, and promote. Yeah, focus on Liberia. For Liberia, Liberia. For Liberia, yeah. From Monday to Sunday. From Monday to Sunday. It's focus on Liberia. Talk about home affairs. Hey. In diaspora. Current affairs. Reliable information. History. Talking about culture. Politics. Education. Entertainment. Business. Sports. Advertisement. Articulation. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. From Monday to Sunday.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jar.
Welcome to Friday Night Debate on Focus on Liberia. My name is Dennis Jar, and we are broadcasting from Atlanta, Georgia. In tonight's edition of Friday Night Debate, we're going to be looking at the impasse at the Capitol. We want to look at the various power play, the role of ECOWAS, the role of the United States, the role of the Supreme Court, the role of the JNB government, also the Senate in the impasse. Also, we're going to be looking at the political future of J. Fonati Koffa, of Richard Koon, and of course, T5, Thomas Fallah. Let me welcome all of you across the globe. Let me first introduce the unabashed and unapologetic sedition, the man who is Republican, but every time he's around the Democrats, Mr. Jerome Gilman. Welcome, sir. Gilman.
Thank you very much. I mean, it's an honor to be here with these distinguished gentlemen. Distinguished, progressive, maybe slow progressive. It's an honor. Thank you very much, Dennis.
Thank you. Let me also welcome General from Canada, Mr. Boakai Dukley. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Dennis. It's a pleasure to be here.
Let me also welcome our political analyst, Mr. J. Victor Nabe. Welcome, Mr. Nabe.
Thank you, Dennis. It's good to be here.
Let me welcome all our viewers from across the globe. When it's Friday Night Debate. We're going to be debating on the impasse in the Senate. So before we start, I want to go around the room and let me hear your side. Are you for Richard Koon or Fonati Koffa? Let me start with you, Mr. Gaiman.
Well, I am with the rule of law, so I stand with Koffa.
J. A. Boakai Dukley.
I think the only right thing to do is to be with Koffa.
Mr. J. Victor Nabe.
Rule of law, Dennis. So therefore, I champion the cause of Koffa.
All right. So there you have it. And if you are watching us, and where do you stand, Koffa or Koon? And we'll introduce T5 because T5 is is another case.
Well, why are you messing with my boy?
Let's look at the role everybody is playing. First of all, I mean, you said Koffa and you said rule of law. Give me a little bit more, Mr. J. Victor Nawe.
Well, Dennis, throughout the crisis here, I have maintained that I'm not necessarily a fan of Koffa, but I think what is happening at the Capitol building, I think if we allow it to continue, we'll have problems on our hands. The whole idea of just getting up and nitty-willy removing a duly elected speaker without process, I think is wrong. I think it's unconstitutional. I think it's illegal. I think the guys reserve the right to remove the speaker, but I maintain they must do it the way it is prescribed by law. Because we are a country of laws. You can't just get up and do things as you feel. They wanted to remove the speaker. I think they should remove the speaker if they think there is cause to do so. But let them do it legally. Thank you.
Mr. Gaiman.
Yes, this is very peculiar. We say we are small America. We model ourselves after constitutional democracy, the United States. And then we copy their constitution. Basically, word for word, where we have America, we take that out, we put Liberia there. Our Pledge of Allegiance, same thing. You just take where they got America, you pull Liberia, and you have your Pledge of Allegiance. We have all of those things. And in that particular document, it spells out if you are going to impeach, which is what this is all about. There are process.
It's not impeachment.
Well, but there is no other way in the Constitution for us to describe what they are talking about. The president and the executive cannot move anybody who is not appointed that works at the will and pleasure of the president. So the president cannot sack or remove an elected officer. So that is the process of impeachment. To impeach someone, you have to accuse them, which is the allegation. Then you have to try them in the Senate, and then when they are found guilty, they are removed. That's how it works.
This is not impeachment. You can remove people for anything.
No. Dennis John, not an elected person. You can anybody that you appoint, you can remove them because you work. They work at
the House. They can remove you for cause. The cause can be because you shot. Anything. So because there's not among themselves. They came together among themselves and put you there, so they can remove you for anything they feel like. Except that they should have the 2/3. But let me go to so end your thoughts.
Yeah, so there's a process, and that process is called the fulcrum on which our constitutional democracy is built is called due process, where we say you are innocent until proven guilty, and that process is due process of law.
Thank you, Mr. Sharif. Koffa and Koon, where do you stand and why?
Thank you, Dennis. It's always good to be here. As an independent, as someone who, is a very independent mind and not beholding to political parties and political ideology on this particular issue. There's been a lot of times I have criticized the CDC and members of the CDC, leadership of the CDC, on their incompetence and inefficiency. When it comes to this particular issue, Speaker Koffa did nothing wrong to these individuals. So what is going on, Dennis, you have to understand is that Richard Koon was beating in their first contest, in the real contest for Speaker of the Liberian legislature. the lower house of the Liberian legislature, the House of Representatives. He was beating, and so a few months later, barely a year later, he's coming back. What we're hearing, what we've consistently heard now, is with the support and backing of the executive mansion to remove the speaker. And so there was all these connivance and different contritions from the executive mansion, including taking the speaker out of the country to go meet the Pope. And while they're out there, in Rome or the Vatican, meeting the Pope, shaking the hands of the Pope, while they're shaking hands, they're removing the speaker. They're storming the Capitol to overthrow the constitutional elected speaker of the House of Representatives. And the president then comes home and he's given this group, this renegade group of rebel legislators, credence. He's given them, he's given them this budget to look at. And we know in Liberia, when you do that as a president, you tip the scale. You have already tipped the scale. And he's going to Sierra Leone and whatnot in certain places saying, this is a process. We're going to work this out. This is how it should. No, this is not how it should be, Mr. President. So when you see independent-minded people like us who have always supported this president, from the election to now, that you're seeing now independent voices. Dennis, voices like Glendy. Glendy now is not with the president on this particular issue. I am not with the president on this particular issue. You see, Brother Boakai on here is not with the president on this particular issue. These are individuals that I know on this platform that are very independent-minded, and they make these conclusions at a level of frustration. And so if you take the three of us and extrapolate this to Liberia now, if you're running a poll today, the Unity Party and Boakai will be in trouble. So come 2029, what's going to happen is, I hope that we'll be able to discuss that, because this is going to have a major repercussion in 2029. It's going to be devastating for not just the president, because now he's not going to run now, but it's going to be very devastating for his handpicked successor. So we have to get ready now to see what's going to happen, 3 years from now, 4 years from now, 5 years from now, but certainly in the next election. An accumulation of things like this is going to hurt the Unity Party candidate. So the question is, will the new administration that will come in 2029 hold the Unity Party responsible for this chaos? Liberia is known as a country of, let bygone be bygone. My man, let's just forget it. Those guys, what they did, we're not going to mind them. So I'm very despondent with Liberian politics at this point in time in my life. Okay, I am very disappointed at this point in time, because these guys, a new administration that comes in, to hold these guys accountable, take them to court and lock them up. They need to be locked up. People, Richard Cohen and others, have to go to court and answer for why they're destroying Liberia this way and lock them up. But the new administration is not going to do that. Lock these people up, hold somebody accountable, so next time you don't have a nonsense like this.
Mr. John, I told you this man was a Republican. Lock them up. Lock them up.
Mr. Sharif Bintu Salih Fatima is saying, 3 months, the speaker was unable to move a single person to his side. Please do not blame the president.
Do you want me to answer that?
In 30 seconds.
Okay. My sister, I thank you for this. But look, it's about the Constitution. This is not moving anyone to your side. The Constitution, look at the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has ruled that there must be a speaker, that the speaker must preside. So you have Richard Cohen, who was elected on white ballot, who was selected on white ballot. He's not a speaker. He's a renegade, part of the group that people are now normalizing as, you know, the majority black. There's no majority black in the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia. That's unconstitutional to talk about. So the media has to be condemned for this. Anybody who talk about majority black, they have to be condemned because they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're talking about. No majority black in the Constitution.
Thank you. Since this crisis started, there have been a lot of involvement, right? Starting with ECOWAS. So let's look at each piece and see their role. You know, do they even have to be there? What role they play and what really went down? So let's start with the role of these different players: the ECOWAS, the Supreme Court, the U.S., the Boakai government, even the Senate. But let's begin with ECOWAS. And I give it to you, Victor.
Yes, Dennis, I think it is interesting that ECOWAS came here and went home empty-handed. I think they have a stake in whatever happens in Liberia. If you live long enough to remember the most recent war that we had in Liberia, I mean, we depended very heavily on ECOWAS and the peacekeeping force ECOMOG to help us kind of quell things down and impose peace on Liberia. ECOMOG came in here and separated the warring parties. Had it not been for ECOWAS or ECOMOG, I'm not sure if Liberia would have survived. And so we belong to the economic bloc, as Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, and they have the pact as well. What affects one, just like NATO affects all. And so when this conflict started, they gave us the space necessary to see if we could bring this thing under control, and we were proven incapable of doing the same. And so they came into the country to help us, find a rapprochement out of this. I was surprised that the president had initially refused to meet ECOWAS, the parliament. And then he eventually did so. By the time he did so, I'm afraid he had watered down all the expectations. We all knew that they were going to leave the country with nothing in hand. And so, yes, I think that ECOWAS, they do have a stake in what happens in Liberia, because regional stability is what breeds, is what all economic depend on to grow. And if the region must grow economically, I think they must maintain the peace, considering what has happened in the region in most recent times. I mean, you're talking about, Burkina Faso, Mali, all these countries. And so I believe they had a reason to come into Liberia and try to nip this thing in the bud. They left, unfortunately, with no peace. And so now here we are. If anything, I think things have gotten worse ever since they were here.
Mr. Dukley, yes, ECOWAS was there, ECOMOG kept the peace, but hey, we're a country, right? Should ECOWAS even be talking about it? This is so internal. Should ECOWAS even be involved with this thing?
Then the short answer to that is yes. And I think that is part of the mandate of the ECOWAS itself. If there's an internal strife in any country and they've been asked to lend a hand, it should be there to lend a hand. But let's not forget one thing. This situation that we see unfolding, the groundwork for this has been laid since we stopped killing ourselves, since we stopped the war. And this is all part of the manifestation of how we have come to internalize and accept mediocre as the way to do things. Internally, we all like to see law and order prevail in our country, but we know as Liberians that is not going to be what that will happen, because we have not come to accept the way things are going as the proper way. So ECOWAS, the fact that it even took this long for ECOWAS to be received by the president tells you how we look at ECOWAS in Liberia. I mean, one of the things that we have not been able to do in our country is we have not been able to let go of our egos, of our, I mean, I don't know how to say this, but we speak of compromise, but we don't have compromise in our system. We have not adopted compromise as part of our mode of doing things that are in our House of Representatives and Senate. Otherwise, why in the world the Senate will have the audacity to say that Koon is the legitimate Speaker of the House? But it goes to tell you the level of bad governance, how low we have gotten. So yes, ECOWAS has a role to play because ECOWAS has something that some leverage that they can use and let us listen to them. But otherwise, I mean, Dennis, this is just one more example to show the world how unprepared and how unable we are to govern ourselves. You know, sometimes you say some of these things, people look at it as extreme. But I think it was a good idea when they spoke of Liberia being in receivership until we can put our arms together. Then we start governing ourselves. I mean, since when? I mean, this should not have gotten to where it is. But like I said, we have come to internalize this way of doing things as the normal way of doing things. So until such time that we can come to realize the rule of law is one of the pillars that every government, every country needs. So you see, we say on this very platform before that the deepest pocket will prevail at the end of the day. And I can see this is where we are headed, Dennis. Now the so-called breakaway, or whatever you want to describe them, they are prevailing simply because they have deeper pockets than Koffa and his backers. Otherwise, this is a no-brainer. I know the Supreme Court did not definitively decide it, but I think there was an opportunity where, you know what, this is what the Supreme Court has said. Okay, let's go with what the Supreme Court. But in the end, people's individual objectives trumps the interest of the Liberian people, and that's what you see displayed right now in Liberia, Dennis. I mean, I'm just so livid by the fact that the Senate will actually go out and say and endorse Koon as a legitimate speaker.
We'll come to the Senate. Mr. Gaiman, Emmanuel Williams said, look at the crisis that took place in Nigeria. Did we see ECOWAS going there to talk? You know, to be fair, we don't want to wait until there is crisis before ECOWAS or ECOWAS come, right?
That's right. Well,
you see?
When you read the mission of ECOWAS, ECOWAS has three main objectives. One is to develop the economic system in the area to increase the standard of living, and then peacekeeping to make sure that the neighbors live neighborly, because wherever there's war, everybody gets affected. You cannot have war and disagreement and raise the standard of living at the same time. So yes, ECOWAS has they have a stake in Liberia, especially with the past example of what they pay in price, financially, personnel-wise, and blood and sweat. So yes, they have a vested interest. So anyone who thinks that ECOWAS does not have any interest in Liberia, they have to be very delusional. Because when we are killing ourselves, then we want ECOWAS. When we have the opportunity to self-govern, we do everything wrong and say we don't need anybody until we start killing ourselves. So yes, ECOWAS has a stake in this, and I think they did the right thing.
And we'll go to the role of the Boakai administration, but let me welcome Fatima Bintu Salif. Fatima, thank you and welcome. Thank you for joining.
Thank you so much for having me.
Right.
How are you, panelists?
And so let me ask you the same question. In this whole House of Representative Bruhaha, are you for Koffa or Koon, and why?
Okay. So I'm actually supporting Speaker Koon because, and I have the reasons. This is the reason. Initially, when this thing started, I believed that if you're leading people and the people decide that they don't want you, when the speaker came from meeting the Pope, I believe that what the speaker should have done, he should have reached out to his people, try to plead with them, and try to convince them. But when that didn't happen, we spoke, and I always made my points on the Spoon Network, and I said, I think the speaker should reach out to them and try to convince them so that, because if in less than a year, you are, the speaker, and 43 of 72 people said that they've lost confidence in you and can no longer sit on your gavel. What do? You try to reconcile, you try to mend fences, you try to mend bridges, and you try to do what you can do to bring them over. But when he didn't do that, and he had an interview on Spoon, and I think that interview was denigrating. He was saying things about his peers that he could not say in the 54th legislature. He said he fingered the budget. They went to some room 1020 something, and they did these things. And these men felt, isolated, felt embarrassed. And of course, they decided that they did not want this speaker. So he couldn't get them. And in 3 months, he has been unable to convince not even one of them. Not one. He has been unable to convince them to join him. So that speaks volume about the kind of speaker he is, because these are the people that you're working with. These are the people that you're leading. And if just less than a year, they are unable to sit on your gavel and you couldn't convince one of them, I think it was their right of way to leave him. So that's the reason why I think I support their decision to leave, and and they're doing what they're doing, and I support Speaker Koon.
Do you also support the process that got Speaker Koon to where he is?
In the beginning, I did not. In the beginning, I felt that the way they were going about it, but when they went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said no statement or no comment, they could not comment in the first briefing, I believe that at that point, they gained ground. And initially, let me tell you something. When the deputy speaker was not with them, they were worried, because I was speaking to people on their side. They were worried because in the absence of the speaker, the deputy speaker presides. And when Thomas Fallah did not come to the first two sessions, they were very worried. But when because they were thinking about now trying to bypass that channel. But when Thomas Fallah joined them, it emboldened them. It made them to feel like, yes, at this point, we will use parts of this very constitution to gain traction and to legitimize ourselves. So I do believe from that moment on, when it went to the first hearing, I believe that from that moment forward, and they came and served the speaker. Nobody's talking about that. The speaker, Koga and Marvin Cole, they said that Koga went to Marvin Cole and served him, and they took it to the speaker, and the speaker rejected it after the first hearing, because when they went to court, they said, no, we did not serve them. We just wanted, this was a grievance that we're bringing, but we were not ready to remove the speaker. And then at that point, they served the speaker and he refused it. So I felt from that point moving forward, they were on their right of way. I truly believe that.
Thank you. All right. That takes us to the point of the role. We talk about ECOWAS. Let's talk about the role of the Boakai administration. From the start to now, what role they should have played, what role they have played, or it should just be complete laissez-faire. Let me start with you, Mr. Nambe.
Dennis, I think initially the Boakai administration got it right. If you remember, the president should have presented the budget at some point in time. He wrote the speaker requesting an extension. I think he realized what was happening. He wanted to leave the house to sort his own matter out. I think that was the right approach. And then 2 weeks later, we saw that before that, 2 of his ministers had gone to testify before the 43, which we began to see as him tilting towards the 43. And then later on, of course, he submitted the budget. submitting the budget to the clerk, who in fact had gone to join the 43. And then after that, we saw the election of Koon, and we saw him beefing up the security, and we heard he congratulated Koon. That in itself, again, was an endorsement of the 43. And now, with all the other things that, that we see thereafter, I think the president compromised his position to play a neutral and a conciliatory, reconciliatory role in this matter by the way he has conducted himself. This obviously is a matter in the House. We understand the separation of powers and all of that, but hey, this is Liberia. We know the presidency carries a lot of weight. And so the president, we feel he could have played a fatherly role and called the two parties in and say, look, people, this is looking embarrassing. 43, you wanted to remove your speaker, but you can't seem to gather the 49 to remove your speaker. Mr. Speaker, you seem to have lost the confidence of your colleagues, and so we have a stalemate. Let us resolve that. I agree with that, with Fatima, that the speaker's initial appearance, I told my wife myself, his messaging, the body language, the tone in which he conveys, all of those, I thought they did him no good. I understand that. And so I told her that I think he was going to have difficulty trying to bring anybody over to his side. And that has not happened. But be that as it may, the point here is what they are doing at the legislature, the legal process they are pursuing. No, it is not. What they're doing is a coup. And if we allow this to stand, they're going to do it again tomorrow. It doesn't matter if they remove the speaker, which I think they will do. I think the question is how. And I think the executive is enabling them with all the other things they've done. Now there are reports that the security of Koffa is being withdrawn, and that is being given to Koon. For what? The man is reporting threats on his life. Even if he were not a speaker or whatever, he is a Liberian citizen. There are people threatening his life, and you're reducing his security. What does that say? Are you not committing him to his death? I don't understand this. And I'm just kind of disappointed in this government, the way they're conducting themselves. Now we're hearing the president pressuring the speaker to resign. If you say the mayor has been impeached, then how do you ask him to resign? How do you ask a president who has been impeached to resign? It doesn't make sense. And I hope they will come to their senses, because now the international community is chiming in, and they better reverse this process and go back into the House and remove their speaker.
Thank you. Mr. Gaiman, the role of the executive, especially the Boakai administration, in all this.
Well, everybody knew that Boakai, I think there was a gentleman on this show that says Boakai behaves like a mafia don. He sits in the back and determines who's to be whacked, and then tells folks, I had nothing to do with it. I had no clue who did it, and we will investigate. Joseph Boakai knew all along. There were speculations from credible forces within the House that from the get-go, he invited all of them to his house, and there were the money that were promised for Richard Koon to be president, to be Speaker of the House. That rigmarole went on. They went to the elections, and the same Koon was defeated. It's the same Koon that King Rabbi and Stasia Koon. I mean, my sister Fatima, the Basel people said they didn't get dry face. I mean, this guy didn't even sugarcoat it to say, like, let Thomas Fallah did, right? Thomas Fallah wants to be speaker, but he said, if I do it this way, it will make me look bad. So let me just acquiesce. Let Koon come and be down the line. They will look my way. But Koon says, I was defeated, and I wanted this position, and this is the right time. President Boakai took Fonati Koffa, lured him into Italy, knowing exactly what was going to happen. And during his absence, what happened? And attempted coup. In fact, the press secretary says while they were there, the situation was so grave that Fonati asked the president he wanted a charter flight to come back immediately because of what was happening. So Joseph Boakai is a corporate, he's a corny old man, and we know very well that he has been exposed.
Fatima, If you can unmute the role of the Boakai administration in all this.
So, is when it comes to the president, is damn if you do or damn if you don't. In this whole crisis, the president actually, the person that he was speaking with was the speaker. He supported the speaker. He continued to tell the speaker, would you please try to convince your people to join you? He called a majority group and they told him the president has been negotiating behind closed doors. And I personally told him, I said, Mr. President, stay away from this. There's a separation of powers. Stay away from this. But he felt that he could have done the father the role. He loved Funati. He does. He still do. But when it comes to Liberia and strangulating the country, he had to find a way out. He couldn't let the country be strangulated by one man. No, he called the president. The president called Funati. He spoke to him and he told him, try to convince your people. Try to do what you got to do to get them on your side. And he could not convince 7 people, 7 of his men to join him. And you're blaming the president for he being corny and being. I told him, I said, listen, Mr. President, you're the president of Liberia. You should. I actually told him, I said, you should call. Because Musa Benete came on Spoon and said it. I do not believe the president's hands are in these things because A, he would have called us and asked us to join the 43. He never did. So it's damn if the president does or damn if he doesn't. He should have taken a role long time. This whole crisis would have been over. If you are no longer speaker, and the Senate have realized that now they have a new speaker and have decided to work with this new speaker, why should they give you security detail? Why? I mean, I believe that they're doing what they're supposed to do. The president had absolutely nothing to do with this, but he has an interest. The interest is his budget. The interest is the Liberian people. You want for one man to strangulate the whole government because the speaker cannot get his peers, the people that voted for him. He was voted for. These people, the people elected him as speaker. And if they deem it necessary that they do not want him, they cannot sit over under his gavel. They have that right. They have that right. The only way that we're all asking is for them to do it constitutionally. And in the beginning, I thought they were at fault when they were the way they were going. But in the end, they fixed it. When it came from the first ruling, they fixed it. They served him. He refused to go there. If the speaker was the speaker, he should have gone, regardless of where they were having the meetings. He could have gone there. Why didn't he go to the 43? He was the speaker, right? Why didn't he go there? These are questions you need to answer instead of putting it down the president's throat and saying the president had absolutely nothing to do with this. But as it goes, he has a country to run. He has a nation to ensure that the budget passes so that the arrested general can take his place and start working for the Liberian people. So
thank you.
That's what the president did. He didn't do anything.
Thank you. Mr. Sharif.
Yes.
The role of the president or the Boakai administration in the brouhaha.
I mean, look, you know me. I have supported this president. I have during the election, through my endorsement, which probably didn't mean a lot, but I did.
He won, so he probably did.
That's right.
Well, I hope so. I hope so. But look, this president on this particular issue, this president cannot disassociate himself for this. As Jerome said, he took this man to Rome. Why the plotters, the renegades, were contriving their evil design to overthrow the Speaker of the Republic of Liberia, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, the duly elected Speaker of the House of Representatives was the renegades stormed the Capitol while the president took Mr. Koon to the Vatican to shake the hands of the Pope. Dennis,
let me interject, Mr. Sharif, because two things happen side by side, meaning establish any correlation.
Granted, but here's a president who came back and submitted his budget to the renegades. Here's a president who acquiesced to this nonsense. He's behind this, and these people, the defectors who were given money, should be tried and locked up. Dennis, the Republic of Liberia, this is a rotten democracy. this democracy is very, very rotten. And it would take somebody of courage, which I thought the president was. I'm still pinning my hopes on him. I'm not giving up on him. I hope that he can do some reforms quickly, because he's not going to run again in 2029. I hope that he would do something right now, starting with this particular issue. You know, he says, you know, there's a separation of powers, and yet you behind this to remove the speaker and put your own partisan imposition. The president wants to dominate everything. You know, you have the executive mansion. Now you want the legislature. Like, what do you want? Is this in the interest of the Liberian people, by the way? This is not in the interest of the Liberian people. I have my doubts. And so, look, Dennis, the Constitution has a requirement for removing the speaker. The numerical requirement.
So what could the president have done to convince you that he's not behind this?
Right, but before I land that thought, Koon does not have the numerical requirement to become a Speaker of the House of Representatives. They have usurped that now. They've recognized, the executive mansion has recognized the rebels, despite the Supreme Court decision. So the justice, the Minister of Justice, give a lame interpretation. Of course, Dennis, in your time in Monrovia and parts of Liberia, have you not seen the Justice Ministry in the pockets of the executive mansion? Didn't we see Jenkins Scott in the pocket of the president? Haven't we heard about all of these other Justice Department Justice ministers that have been in the pockets of the executive? Is this a surprise? You're going to take that, people are going to take that and run away with it? I don't care if the Justice Minister says he's the legal luminary, the only legal luminary that was ever born, that's ever alive. He is in the pocket of the president of the Republic of Liberia. So to answer your question, what would the president have done to exonerate himself? The president should not have even been behind this in the first place. He should not have, contrived this kind of evil plan, a diabolical plan to destroy the republic in this manner. Dennis, people are laughing at us now. We are the laughing stock of West Africa. It's a joke. This democracy is a rotten democracy. Independents like myself, who are supporting the president, independents, maybe like brother Ducle on here, and Glendy and others. So you extrapolate this now.
Don't leave me
Liberia,
out. Don't leave me out. I'm independent.
People, seditious like Jerome, who he's supposed to convince something, I don't know, right? So can you imagine in Liberia now, if you take a poll today, if you take a poll tomorrow, this president will be underwater. The Unity Party will be underwater. So therefore, in 2029, this is a recipe for a disastrous electoral defeat at the hands of the opposition. So you don't want to do this. You don't want to contrive a way for the opposition to take over. All of the things he's doing is sheer greed. It's sheer greed, and it's inimical to our democracy, because you're not listening to the Supreme Court of the Republic of Liberia when they made their ruling. This is very bad. We saw this in '89 when Chair Chipo was impeached. Chair Chipo was impeached for frivolous reasons. And what happened the following year? We had a civil war. I'm not saying that the two things were linked, but the dictatorship of the 80s part of that contributed to the civil war of the 90s.
Dennis, may I just quickly, on the point that Mr. Sheriff is making?
Yeah, before you make that point, I just want to say, because I try to credit Mr. Sheriff for the Boakai victory, and this is what Sam Wallace said. I say, we rather credit Namwe for Cummings' 1% showing than give Sheriff credit for Boakai's victory. Go ahead, Mr. Namwe.
Well, thank you, Mr. Wallace, for the credit, and I'm sure we can credit you right now for the mess that we're in, but let's move on. Correct. Let me tell you what Mr. Sheriff is saying is significant. If you remember on October 17, when Fallah came to the house to preside, what was he saying? Nothing else but we're here to preside. We're here to preside. We're here to preside. That was the only reason that session was convened. And why? Because they had started gathering signatures back in April to remove the speaker. And the president knew that. They had started gathering signatures.
How you know that the president
because his rescue people are on the team. They have started gathering signatures since then. Now, for the speaker to be removed, he has to be absent. And then the deputy speaker presides. So he wanted to preside to remove the speaker. The president knew enemy was at a gathering at the gates, and yet he invited the speaker to the room. And that is when they seized the opportunity to carry out the coup that they're attempting to carry out. So the point that Mr. Sheridan is making, is very significant. I think we shouldn't leave it in the analysis of how we got here. The president, if I were him, the point Mr. Sheridan is making, seeing as it looks as if I knew and conspired with the people to take the speaker out of here so they could remove him, I'll do the best I can to be as neutral as possible. He is not being neutral. He is not being neutral. And then he sent his justice minister, my cousin schoolmate. I love him to death, but I think he's wrong on this. His interpretation is misleading. It's wrong. What he's interpreting is not what the Supreme Court is saying. And now the full text of the Supreme Court decision is out. Everything he said has been debunked.
Thank you, Mr. Dukley. I mean, what your colleagues are doing is they are trying to link President Boakai to this, but I don't see any proof. It's all speculation. Do you agree?
No, I strongly disagree, Dennis. You don't have to see proof, but you do have brain. You can think and you can observe and you can analyze. Are all of these things coincidence? Absolutely not. I mean, he might not have played an active role, but definitely he was aware and he knew exactly what was happening. And there are plenty of evidence to point to that direction. I mean, we might as well just shred our constitution and then keep doing things that we are doing right now. We don't need that constitution. What is the point of having a constitution when we can't live by it? So, myself personally, as an individual, as a Liberian, I would like to see the rule of law apply in every way possible. But being a realist and knowing my country the way it is, a country that has 48% of literacy after having been in existence for 170 some more years, I'm not surprised to see what is happening. So, what reason did the president have to present his budget to the renegade group? On what basis was that done? No, I don't like what I.
Oh, sorry.
I don't like what I see. And my sister, I will beg to differ, simply because there are rules laid out how to elect a speaker and how that process should work out. And the Article 33, Article 49, you name it, it's all there for a purpose. It's there for a reason. They didn't just put it in there because they want to put it there. They put it there for a reason so that it can be a mechanism by which the legislature can function. Now, there is a reason why the Constitution says clearly you must have 49 people say we don't want a speaker, then we can remove the speaker. As long as you have not attained that number, you are still not in a legal right position to do what they are doing. So this is what I would love to see. But I know my country to be a country of a nation that doesn't follow the law. It's a country that doesn't abide by its own rules. So I might sound very disillusioned by saying this, but that is the reality that I have lived in Liberia. That is what I know to be Liberia. So the president has laid out the roadmap for these guys to follow. And now we've seen it manifested in what the Senate is doing. So Boakai might not have been as explicit as we thought, people think he should have been, but he created the condition where this thing has now gotten to where it is. I mean, you don't have to be a genius to see the role that he has played. Like I just said earlier, Dennis, if you recall on this platform, I was one of the people that said on this platform, Speaker Koffa is doomed. No matter what happened, he is not going to survive this. I was one of those who said that. And I was saying this based on the 2 previous presidents that have occurred in that very house and how those 2 presidents ended. So no matter what the political wrangling is, in the end, the guy with a deep pocket, and it seems from the way we see things happening now, it looks like the renegade group has gained steam, and it looks like their pocket has gotten deeper, and eventually Speaker Koffa is going to cave in. But this is not the way to do things. They are not doing the things according to the Constitution. But that's the reality that we are living, Dennis.
Thank you. Fatima, you wanted to chime in, and then let me welcome Carl Famula. She also joined the conversation. Fatima, go ahead.
You know, I heard Honorable Ducle say something, and he said this is all done by the president or something like that. I mean, I kind of lost my thought when he was going on, but I just want to say something. Deep pockets and all of these things. You're saying what the president taking the budget is criminal. Well, the Supreme Court of the Republic of Liberia, when the speaker went there to seek redress, what was he told? The Supreme Court did not find them any of their sitting or anything that they were doing illegal. The 43 men. I mean, I don't know if people have been following, but the Supreme Court said Justice Johnner was on Spoon TV for the hearing, and the Supreme Court said they did not find anything that they were doing illegal. So
the Supreme Court said that?
Can you? Of course, yes. Did you read
Funati asked them to stop them from meeting.
That's correct.
Yes, the Supreme Court said no. Business said no comment. We're not saying anything.
So
so that meant what they were doing illegal.
The Supreme Court also told them to return to status quo ante.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
Can I continue?
Yeah, continue.
All right. The Supreme Court stated that they did not find anything. I mean, here where I live, the rules and laws are made for everybody to understand. When I went to court for a certain reason, the judge would tell me that this is this is what it is, and this is what it's not. The Supreme Court said they did not find anything that they were doing illegal. So they went on with business as usual. And
the Supreme Court didn't say that.
No man or woman.
Mr. Jack, can you put that? Can you bring the rule in place?
No man or woman is above the law. If you are in charge of people and these people you're working along with them and you're the head, and 43 of your men say they do not want you, and you cannot convince them to come back to you, you need to step aside. And that's what it is. It's simple as that.
Can I ask Fatima a question? Just
Dennis,
one question.
Dennis, can I come in?
Hold on.
Can I ask Fatima a question?
I want to bring
because this is an outrage.
But Dennis, is just one question.
Yeah, hold on. Let Carl come in and then go ahead, Carl.
Thank you, Dennis. Hello, everyone. So there's a couple. Can you all hear me?
Yeah, but why are you not showing your face?
Because I'm traveling. I'm in the car. What do you want me to do?
Oh, I thought you were hiding. Go ahead.
I don't need to hide. I'm not here with my legal name. I'm like some of y'all.
What
kind of thing is that, Jerome? Let me say this to you all. First of all, I'm really disappointed in what I'm hearing here. Bunch of speculation from adults who are educated and have had an opportunity to learn at a higher level. Rumor mongering, spreading disinformation. It's so disappointing. Unpatriotic. And I expect so much more from all of you. Let me complete my thoughts. You can come back. I will not be interrupted. I've listened to you.
I mean, you against the state.
Yeah, you come on here.
All you're doing.
She just gave
Mohammed, you are enemy of the state.
You should have no reason to cut me off.
You want to tell me about patriotic?
Mohammed, you are enemy of the state. She said you're enemy of the state.
Let us finish. Go ahead.
But
Carl.
There's nothing you're going to
Nobody
say
can
that's going to
tell me.
silence me.
Nobody can
Nothing.
tell me about patriotic.
You guys
So
are
then
spreading
watch your language.
disinformation and rumor mongering.
Watch your
Article
language. You can't tell
49 is
anybody
clear.
about patriotic.
Article 49
Hold on,
is
Mr.
clear.
Terry.
They may, it says, they may remove
The executive
with
is
cause.
behind this.
The speaker is
The
not being
executive is
impeached from the
behind
House
it.
of Representatives. He is only being removed as the first among equals. It is not that serious.
This is the
The reason the due process for the removal of the speaker is not as high of a standard as impeachment is because it is not as serious.
It's not serious.
Okay, the reason the threshold for removing a speaker is spelled out differently from that of an impeachment is because it is not as serious. It is a matter of 2/3 majority. It may or may not be with cause. It does not compel them to take him to trial. It does not compel them to have a hearing. There is nothing like that in Article 49. Nothing like that spelled out. You guys are making up stories. The Constitution is written for citizens. It is not written for liars and politicians. The point is very clear. The minority cannot compel the majority to act. Period. Period. That is that's the gist of the Constitution.
Right.
You guys listen to me. Listen to me. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you guys something. Barney Sherman's explanation and his analysis on point. The Justice Minister's analysis on point. You guys are being political. You're not looking at this logically. In the first place, when they didn't have the numbers to remove Fanati, I was the same one that said Fanati should not resign. Right on this platform. Dennis is my witness.
Are you serious, Carl?
Said Fanati should not resign because they didn't have the numbers to compel him to do so. Did I not say that, Dennis?
The numbers now.
Did I not say that, Dennis?
Okay.
You know what? This is very unfair. When you have me talking, you go ahead and keep the microphones on to be interrupting me and being rude and belligerent because they're afraid of what I'm going to say. So the same thing, you allow me to speak. Don't bring me on the platform and then have everybody else over talking me.
Oh, I'm telling everybody to give you a chance to speak. So please conclude.
Mute them the same way you can mute me when I overtalk them. If you will be fair.
Don't come in here and call us unpatriotic.
I'm so disappointed in you right now. We'll call you after the show and we'll have a conversation because I consider you a friend. But I'm extremely disappointed in you.
Okay, I'm going to mute my mic.
He laughing. Yeah, I'm too disappointed in him. I will call him after the show.
I didn't get your point yet. What? Go ahead and conclude.
How you get my point when you're allowing the people to overtalk me? My point is this. My point is this. Article 49 is clear. Hello? The minority cannot listen. They do not need, they can have a reason, they can have a reason to remove him. They don't have to have a reason to remove him. Once you get 2/3, of elected, the people's representatives, these are all elected officials, democratically elected by the citizens of this country. And if the majority of them have decided they want a new first among equals, they have a right to do so. They are not reversing the votes of the people of Grand Crew. Fanati is still representative. They're not impeaching him. They're just saying they do not want him to leave them in the House, and they have every right to do so.
Right,
Y'all acting like a man being impeached from office or something. And stop confusing the Liberian people because that is not what is happening.
No, call. The process is what they are having problem with.
The process in Article 49 has not been violated. They're making up stuff. They're trying to parallel a removal of a speaker to that of impeachment. It's not the same thing. There is no due process. There's no due process being violated. Article 49 is the due process. And when it talks about impeachment, the process is different. It's stated differently.
Can I speak
now? No, I'm not done. Give me one more moment. One more minute. Let me finish one last sentence.
No, Carl, hold on. I want to call you to a point because the process is not in Article 49. Article 49 says it can be removed for cause. That's it. Any process.
It doesn't say can. It says may, which this is important in terms. English is not that difficult. When you say may, it means it's not compelled. It's not compelled. If they use the word shall, it's a compelled. It's compelled.
Well, that's not the point. But what's the process being established in Article 49? The way of
Two-thirds majority. That's the process. Period.
So where do you?
But do they have two-thirds majority?
How do you arrive at a two-thirds majority?
What I'm saying is, it's two-thirds majority. Once they get 48 people.
But where do you have that two-thirds? Do you go to a Boulevard Hotel and have the two-thirds majority? How do you get it?
Doesn't matter where they meet. Nothing in Article 49 says they have to meet in the legislature. Nothing in Article 49 says anything like that. That's why the Supreme Court threw the case back.
No. Supreme Court said they acted outside their authority. That's what Supreme Court said.
Who acted outside their authority?
The 43.
Show me the quote.
Call?
Show me the quote, because as far as I've seen, and every single attorney that I've spoken to that I respect that's not politically motivated has agreed that this case essentially was thrown back, and they're basically saying we don't see a constitutional violation.
Oh, I put a link.
Exactly what the Justice Minister said.
No,
exactly what Councilor Sherman said. Exactly what many lawyers with Juris Doctorate degrees that are of Liberian origin have said.
The last paragraph in when it said wherefore. Did you read that one?
Asked you to read where it says that they acted outside of their authority. Let me say this.
Hold on now, let me read it.
Go ahead.
Wherefore, and in view of the foregoing, any sittings or actions by members of the legislature not in conformity with the intent of Article 33 and 49 of this Constitution are ultra virus.
How does that apply to the majority bloc and not the minority when the majority rules?
But listen,
because the minority was still within the
why are you guys assuming that applies to the majority bloc?
Because the majority was the only one that had function, that had section.
Right, that took action.
That's not true. Fanati has been holding meetings. Just the other day, Fanati held meetings. That's how Wombe was the deputy speaker. And they had 23 people present. They had 23 people present.
Fonati never had quorum, so whatever Fonati discussed, and the issue was not about decisions.
They did not specifically say the majority bloc. You guys are making stuff up.
No, hold on, Carl. The issue was not about the decisions that were taken by the minority bloc or the minority, right? The issues were about decisions being taken by the 43. And the Constitution and the Supreme Court is saying those actions, those sittings were outside of their authority.
43 people, but today, as we said, how many people have signed to remove Fanati?
We're not talking about sign because
we're talking about what
what I'm asking you is today, 12th of December 2024, how many people have said they want the Fanati to be removed? It's more than 48.
It's 44. 44.
It cannot be 44 when Fanati was only able to call 23 people to a meeting. How many lawmakers do we have?
Because
y'all stop it. Once they reach that 48 threshold, it's over. For months, and that's my witness.
It's 49, not 48.
And that's why
they have 50.
That's why you shouldn't say the people that have different view are unpatriotic or they are.
No, it is unpatriotic. They have 50 votes, and they're saying 50 of the lawmakers. We only have 73. 50 of them are saying they don't want this man to be speaker. Why are you guys defending him?
Listen, you cannot have 50 when two of my representatives from Grand Bassa went and removed their name from the list. So why are you talking about
joining them again? So I don't know how you manage.
The bottom line is this.
Go ahead.
The bottom line is this.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, so let me.
Okay, let me go ahead and mute. Let me say this, Dennis. I'm gonna leave and listen to you guys offline. When y'all come back with more things, I'll come back home. Okay, y'all take care. Let me focus on my driving. I'll listen to you guys. In fact, please mute Jerome for the rest of the show.
Don't hit it wrong.
Jerome for the rest of the show. Just mute him.
If it's important for you, park and join the fight.
How you doing, my sister-in-law? I'll talk to y'all later.
Just hang up, man. It's okay, my sister.
Boy, y'all got too much trouble for me. Let me focus on the road.
It's okay, my sister.
drive safe, yeah.
Joining in my journey.
Drive safely.
Drive safe.
I hope
you know that.
I hope you get.
Your seven representative and I joined today.
There you go again. You speculating again. When I say that, you say I speculate.
I believe the moderator gave me the floor to speak.
Hold on, Fatima.
I believe the moderator gave me the floor. So then I hope Cole is living. Cole, if you're listening, let me tell you, I'm disappointed in your input and I'm offended that you have the gall to come here and tell me I'm being unpatriotic. You are being unpatriotic because you are spreading falsehood. Everything you say here is baseless. Everything you said. The articles you're citing have absolutely nothing to do with the process. All of us, well, at least I have come on here and I've said over and again, they reserve the right to remove the speaker for cause. If they think they have a reason to do so, they should do so. That is not my issue. My issue is the illegal, the lawless process going to get hold of our LJ and spending our money and having jolly and good time and holding up the people's work. That is the problem. And they're getting paid for doing that.
Victor,
I'm sorry you don't recognize that.
Victor, let's leave this. I think all of you disagree on this fundamental issue. I don't think this has to do with patriotism. Right. I think for Cole to say you're not patriotic or for you to say she's not patriotic, I think that's wrong. The reason we're all here is because we are patriotic. We love Liberia. So let's
absolutely.
People.
So let me let it. Here's my point, and I will say this, and I will say it again and again. My concern is that we should follow the rule of law in the Republic of Liberia. The law says you should bring your vote, your resolution to the floor, gather your votes, and vote the speaker out of. He was elected, and she acknowledged that. He was elected, duly elected. It's like you go and you consummate a marriage in court, and then you walk out and say, you know what, I'm done with this marriage. Are you unmarried now? No.
It happens all the time.
I'm sorry? You have to actually go and nullify your marriage. There is a process for doing that. I'm just disappointed and surprised that my sisters here don't seem to recognize that. There is a process for removing the speaker. She talked about the 2/3 majority. Is 44, 43, 48, 2/3 majority of 73? No. Mathematically, that is less than 2/3. And they know they don't have the 2/3. They've been hold up. They started this thing back in April. They have been unable to gather the numbers. And now they're staging a coup and holding the legislature hostage. And we don't see that. And we're talking about Koffa. Koffa has done nothing. Everything the Supreme Court said that was done outside the law was done by the 43. They need to get their behinds back into the legislature and go and remove their speakers legally. If they can't do that, they need to give up on it. And the president needs to start enabling them. You know, by all this thing about submitting budget and giving cars to Koon and all of that, those are taxpayers' chaos. The taxpayers' money he's using. So we have the right to speak out when we think our taxes are being misused. So I'm very disappointed in my sister's intervention. It has brought me no clarity. It has contradicted nothing that I've said so far. I don't see why she even came to make that point. More than that, I think her presentation was very emotional.
Thank you. Well, you know, a lot of time women find it very offensive when you say they're emotional, right? Because it's so let people speak the way they want to speak. You know, and
stop with the patronage. Stop with the they feel offended by that also. So don't do this, Dennis. I mean, it's called equality.
I talk about the patriotism, right? Now I'm talking about to say, oh, you are emotional. We're in America, right?
I mean, so if you tell a man that they're emotional, do they get upset?
No, because there's a history to it.
Okay.
You know, this whole idea of man, black woman, you know, that kind of thing.
All right, Dennis. I reject being called unpatriotic. I leave it there.
Right. So now we're unpatriotic. We can't say no. We can't talk back.
No, I also called out the patriotism issue, right? I did. Now let's talk about the role of the U.S.
You know, Dennis. Speaking of patriotism, let me just address this issue of patriotism.
You know, let's move on. We don't have much time. Let's move on.
Dennis, just give me 1 second. You get called all the time.
That's right.
And you didn't ask a question. But
Not
she lambasted
not only
us.
that, but she told him when
Now
y'all be here, she coming back. That's what she
now
told
we can't defend ourselves against
And
this.
she's ready. She's telling us you're not emotional, you're
Dennis.
passionate. I take that.
Yeah, right. That's passion. I like people who speak with zest, as Chia Chipo would say.
And I like that too. I like that. I mean, she came in with passion. That's very good. That's healthy. This is called Friday Night Debate for a reason. So I like that. So we should also have the opportunity to also respond in kind. So that's the reason why we have a debate. So look, we're not patriotic on here. Everyone on here is a Liberian patriot. I am a Liberian patriot. I have been talking about issues for as long as I can remember myself. And so I was on here when Kabina Jane was impeached. We all condemned. A lot of us condemned the George Weah administration for that administrative malfeasance. And Kabina Jane went to the ECOWAS court and won. And George Weah disregarded the ruling. We all condemn that, a lot of us, perhaps with the exception of Jerome. So we're on here now saying, what is going on?
Patriotic.
Yeah, what is going on right now? Because it's a unity party. The unity party people don't want to hear this because all of these people are in one locksteps with the unity party. They are in this ideological block that they're unmovable. So now they're defending their party. That's all they're doing. My dear sister Fatima, that's what she's doing, and I respect that.
Unfortunately, I'm not a unity partisan. I'm a supporter of the president.
You support the
I have no
president?
political party in Liberia.
Okay.
So maybe I will join them now that you're saying that, but I'm not a unity partisan.
Okay. So my sister Fatima is supporting.
Actually, I was a supporter of the CDC before. George Weah is a friend and my nephew's dad. So I'm not a unity partisan. I support and love Joseph Boakai. Okay. That's all.
So my sister Fatima is supporting the president, and I have always supported the president as well. But if the president does something wrong, it doesn't mean you can't step away and say, Mr. President, you're wrong. You know the reason why we have problems, we have had problems in Liberia is that people are in lockstep with the people that they love and support. They never gave up on them. They never moved from behind them, as we say in Liberia. Mr. President, we are with you 100%. That is the wrong approach. The right approach is what we're doing now. If the person that you love, the person that you support, the person that you adore, so to speak. So you need to make sure you tell them the truth. Right now, nobody is in the Unity Party. Not many are telling Boakai the truth, including the Justice Minister that I'm very disappointed in
because Boakai has nothing to do with it.
Because of the fact that he's collecting largesse from the president, and the president, the executive mansion, is sitting on a pile of cash. The Liberian taxpayers' money is being used to remove Speaker Koffa, and this is inimical to Liberian democracy. What the president is doing right now is very, very dangerous for our democracy, and he needs to be very careful. He's sending police out there policemen, men with batons, men who are very aggressive and disciplined, underpaid, and they are beating on lawmakers. What audacity this president!
Yeah, are you serious? Why? Why is the police there?
The next thing that the president is trying to go into try to do.
These lawmakers have been doing, sir. Seriously.
The next thing that the president is trying to go to do now is to maybe put military officers in the streets of Monrovia to beat the rest of these lawmakers. But I tell you what, history tells us that when you put gunmen in the streets, sometimes they don't go back to the barracks. So, Mr. President, if you're listening to this, if any of your people are listening to this, stop this nonsense of putting gunmen, men with batons, in discipline police and underpaid police to beat lawmakers. You are abusing the separation of power, Mr. President. The separation of these guys need to be protected. These women need to be protected.
Can me for 1 minute, please?
Mr. Sharif, did you witness the lawlessness that was at the Capitol?
Thank you.
And there was even fire set in the Capitol building. I was there when they punctured the tire with a knife, a huge knife, right? So if nothing is done, I mean, I'm afraid that we may have.
You were where?
At the Capitol building.
When was this now?
This is 2 or 3 days ago.
So you say you were there?
No, FOL reported that.
Okay.
And we saw blood.
And who put that in there? Who put that there? Who put that?
The fire. I mean, there's complete chaos. So
who put the bomb? You said there was a bomb. So who put that there?
No, not bomb. I said fire. The fire went up. Who
put the fire there?
I don't know.
Nobody knows that. So it could be this renegade group that's
what I'm
doing
saying.
all of this.
So you need police in there
but the police not investigating.
But
they're protecting the renegades.
They have a
capital rebels.
The capital has its own police force.
Yes.
They have a capital police.
Then it could be the renegades who set that fire.
We don't know.
Koffa look back. You think Musa Bility, a respected man like Musa Bility, you think Musa Bility is going to go out there and put fire?
No. We don't know. That's why we need the police to protect lives.
But they need to go and investigate. You also have your CID. Where's the CID? The CID didn't go there to investigate. Dennis,
I'm responding to you when you said the president sent police to beat up people. I'm saying the police should go there and maintain law and order because there was complete breakdown of law and order.
Dennis, in 89,
I'm afraid somebody may get killed at that Capitol building.
In 89, Dennis, there was a bomb. There was a projectile, a bomb, a homemade bomb that was thrown into the University of Liberia bathroom when we were protesting the Doe administration ban on student politics. Doe, to his credit, it was the next day after when they sent the police. But that day, he sent his CID director to investigate. So they didn't come there with gunmen ready to shoot.
Let's move on, Mr. Sharif. I think you talked like 5 minutes now. Fatima, 30 seconds for you, and then we'll move to.
I just wanted to just give a rebuttal to what Mr. Sharif is saying. I mean, we share the same last name, Mr. Sharif. I'm a Sharif too, but what you're saying, sister. Yeah, I am.
So all the Johnsons in the world are related now?
No.
We're descendants.
Anyway,
she knows that.
Yeah, so let me just say something real quick. The state police, the police of the Republic of Liberia, I'm not even talking about a Capitol Police. They are there to maintain law and order. No one has to call the police when there is something brewing or going on.
No.
Even in these United States. Okay? Can you please? I will let you talk. But with all of these things that have been going on, are you guys blind to the fact that when this thing started, when the people went in the absence of the speaker, when they went to give a resolution, Marvin Cole and the rest of them went and locked the doors and tried to attack them. That's the first time it started. When they started holding sessions, what happened? The people went, while they were in session, they went there to tear gas them. The majority black has informed all of their staffers not to attack anyone because they are all lawmakers. I don't know if you remember, one night they went into the House of Representatives. They went to the main chamber and destroyed all the chairs that it was sitting on. Nobody saw that.
Fatima.
So
now you're speculating. Do you have proof that they did that?
Is Mohammed your cousin?
I'm Sharif. I'm Sharif. What we Sharifs are related. We are direct.
Hold on. Mohammed Dollar saying no, cousin. Is he your cousin?
Mohammed Enzo Dollar is my first cousin. Yes.
Mohammed Enzo Dollar is my brother.
Okay. So is this a good? All right. Let's go to the role of the U.S. Now, the U.S. with all their own problem here, coming to us now. Who goes to them too? Anyway. Mr. Brooklyn, should the U.S. come and tell us how to behave in the house? Because
they are the only people we can listen to. Do we have a choice? They are the only people that we can listen to. They are the only people that have the leverage that will make us to behave. So yes,
they spend their money in Liberia. They give you money.
That's right. There is the only country that has the leverage that will make us to behave. Dennis, this is not the first time. But before I can even go further, Brother Sharif mentioned something here that was a flagrant disregard to the rule of law in our country, which was the removal of Justice Janet. And we all saw how that unfolded. And you actually had Liberian behind that decision when everybody who was patriotic, who is honest, knew that that was a flagrant violation of our laws.
Mm-hmm.
And to prove that, he went to the ECOWAS code. ECOWAS code told us our own laws. So, look, let's not pretend here as if to say our country is some country that follows some law. No, we are not a country that abide by our own laws. Let's not pretend. So, because Uncle Sam has what it takes, because all of us in Liberia, our dream is to live our lives and our children live in the great United States. And if we don't listen to the United States, we probably might not have that. And so the money that the United States spent on us, I mean, by us, I mean our government and our country, yes, I think it's about time for the United States to come in, because then they're the only people that we can listen to. What do you think we don't care to listen to what the ECOWAS has to say? Because ECOWAS doesn't have any leverage other than just saying what they need to say to us. But the United States could come and say, if you don't come to a compromise, no more visa. And you know what that means to the legislatures and their supporters. The United States could say, anyone who is who has a visitor visa right now, multiple entry visa, will cancel your visa. Trust me, these guys will come to their senses, and tomorrow that legislation will be in order, and they will do exactly what the United States want them to do. Mm-hmm. So for that reason, we need the United States to intervene on our behalf, because they won't listen to us.
Mr. Gaiman, United States.
Well, let me on this particular show, and I know at one point you thought I was very, very harsh on my Bassa people. You saw 12 of our senators, led by Dara Dilla and Nyobi Kanga, took a petition to the United States Embassy. They were reading, appealing to the United States Embassy to do away with the CDC government. And I read on it and I said, can you imagine 15 senators are going to a foreign entity and saying, we cannot do for ourselves what the Constitution prescribes. Come and do it for us. And now the shoe is on the other foot. Now they are saying America has nothing. But what this is what it says here, though. In their own write-up today, I think Fatuma saw this. That's why she ran on here, because she know we're coming to read it. The United States, I think you have it too, where it says here, the United States wants to see Liberia political processes play out peacefully and with respect to the rule of law. Liberians expect their leaders to uphold democracy and its practices. This is the United States. They are saying they are watching. We Liberians, we have to abide by our own rules, our own constitution. This is today. In fact, they gave out two. That was yesterday, and this one just came out. They are watching and saying they expect nothing but the rule of law as laid out in our constitution. So we will here now.
Thank you. Fatima, should the U.S. come in?
Liberia is a sovereign nation. No, we're not fighting any war. We can remove our speaker as we see fit. Why should they come in? No. Why should they come in? We can handle our own affairs.
Were you inviting the U.S. when we was in power, and now it's not the case?
I've never. No, you're not listening to me. I've never. When George Weah was in power, I went to him and spoke to him myself. I've never called anybody to say remove George Weah. No. And when I wanted him to be removed, I went to Liberia 6 times last year. I spoke to my VA people, my PETA people. I went every county that my family members are from. We removed him.
Your stole the election.
No problem. I agree. We're not going there. No problem. We removed him.
I love my sister. Go ahead.
Mr. Sharif. Yeah. I mean, we always find ourselves here, depending on who's in power, we want a U.S. intervention, or sometimes we don't want it. What you say this time?
Yeah, this is probably one of the few times I here now that I agree with Fatima. This is, Liberia is a sovereign nation, but do we act like it? So that's the question. We never act like it. And so, Charles Taylor says something to Undersecretary Herman Cohen. He said, if the United States sent 1 battalion today, we would disarm. Keep in mind at the time that ECOWAS was in the country, right, Brother Dukley? ECOWAS was in the country. He wasn't going to disarm to ECOWAS. He wasn't going to listen to the Interfaith Mediation Committee and any of those committees. So he said, Mr. Cohen, go back to tell President Bush, just send 1 battalion, I think he said something like, not battalion, but, something smaller, because a battalion, I think, is 400 men or plus. He said, send the United States Marine and we will end the war today. So what I'm saying here now is that these guys have been acting like children. They've acted like children. They've acted like kids in the candy store. All of this is about the accumulation of power and wealth. This is not about the Liberian people. Richard Coon, trust me, he's not in the interest of the Liberian people. Do you think
Funati Koffa is in the interest of the Liberian people?
I don't know that, but what I do know
about Richard Coon.
Richard Coon, I know is not in the interest of the Liberian
people.
You don't know how I know this? You know how I know this? Because he is greedy. He's hungry for power. He does not have the numerical requirement, 2/3 majority, which is why I call. Somebody said they're surprised. I'm surprised also that Cole will support this nonsense. He does not have. Here's the 1986 Constitution. He does not have the numerical requirement.
I told you I'm a book. You don't have it?
I will buy it from now. I'll order from Amazon.
Right.
I got it right here.
There you go. I will order my copy after the program. So he does not have the requirement, the numerical requirement of 49 to remove the speaker. So you're coming back.
They've been making marking out.
Right.
This is intended for civic education.
Yeah, absolutely. So the United States, if we have our house in order, the United States should not be telling us what to do. But I'll tell you one thing. I'll tell you another thing, right? So now that the United States Embassy has said something about this, you're going to see a new movement towards sanity tomorrow morning. These guys, somebody just said it, their visas and things like that, their passport, some of them are United States passport holders, they're United States citizens, and they're serving in the Liberian.
At the Mall of Georgia here.
They are going to listen now. Now that the United States Embassy, keep in mind, ECOWAS has talked to them. They turned down our brothers and sisters' plea. They turned down the religious leaders of Liberia. Talk about non-patriotic. Talk about unpatriotic. These are the guys that are unpatriotic, not us.
Yeah, thank you.
Richard Cohen and his group are the unpatriotic Liberians that are masquerading around as patriots, but they are not.
Mr. Sheriff, you say you don't know about Funati, right? Funati was in there when Cabinet Jana was impeached. Funati is a convicted felon here in the United States.
What that has to do with
Let me finish.
Richard Cohen was a rebel too. Richard Cohen was a rebel.
You're making a false equivalence. And the fact that it was done wrong doesn't mean it should continue to be done. But then why are you bringing that up? Because you're saying because it happened before, so we should let it happen again.
Hold on. Mr. Sharif said, Richard so I asked him specifically, what's about Funati? He said he doesn't know. So I'm trying to get, he's a student of history, so I'm trying to point out a few things.
But what does this conviction in the United States has to do with anything that's going on right now? The people elected him for that. The people saw that and they elected him.
Why do you think felons are not allowed to even run?
I would never have voted for him. But the people voted for him.
He's not a felon in Liberia.
He's not a felon in Liberia.
I agree.
We have felons. You want to know? You don't know who felon. You want to know? Charles Taylor got elected president. Prince Johnson.
That's why I was surprised when you were quoting him.
Prince Johnson. Prince Johnson got elected senator.
let me go to Victor to talk about the U.S. and then we move on to our last point, which is
Thank
their
you very much,
political
Mr.
future.
Jal. Let me say quickly, the U.S. has all reasons to take interest in what happens in Liberia. I get an argument about sovereignty and all of that. Yeah, well, you can be a sovereign nation when you're paying your own budget, when you're underwriting your own budget. Stop going to Uncle Sam and begging them for money. And then when they give you the money, stop stealing it. Then you are a sovereign nation. So until we can do that, we will continue to let them sanction our officials who will take their money and stack it into their foreign bank accounts and embarrass and disgrace us. So that whole question about sovereignty and all that is nonsense. We are not a sovereign nation. We are a sovereign nation by mouth. So we need to really get our house in order. We can become a sovereign nation when we start handling our own business, which we're not doing. So does the U.S. have any business in our matter? Absolutely. Absolutely, they do. And for good reasons. Even if they didn't have any business, what they're telling us is nothing wrong. Respect the rule of law. What is wrong about that? Why do they even need to tell us that? Why don't we know that on our own? Why don't we respect the rule of law? And before I land, let me say this again. I will keep saying it until it gets through to people who are listening. This is not about Fonati Koffa. This is absolutely nothing to do with Fonati Koffa. It is to do with respecting our laws.
The rule of law.
So simple
The
as
rule of
that.
law. The man was elected duly. Look, this is the conundrum of Liberia. You took an immoral man and you elected him speaker. He is the speaker. If you want to remove him, go through the process and remove him. Why is that so difficult?
Thank you.
Because we're not used to the rule of law.
We'll take a 1 minute break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the political future of Fonati Koffa, of Rachel Koon, and T5. But I want you to listen to the Liberia, Liberia. Liberia, Liberia, our country, Liberia. Which one you enjoy? Lofa, right? Lofa won?
Oh, Lofa got to win. You remember when Doe were playing? They said the CRC got a main score. He got to score.
when he kicking penalty, the goalkeeper will go.
I remember
other corner.
He said on a number of occasions they will specifically tell the goalkeeper, "Hey, when the speeder is kicking out ball in the goal, you better go in a different direction."
It's not predetermined, huh?
Then when he misses it, then I re-kick.
Right.
Oh yeah. You got to kick that penalty until you score.
All right. So let's look at their future. Let's say it's becoming clear to me that Fonati may not be speaker. It looks like he said, "Well, I'm going to see this to the end because I can't go down alone." Maybe I'm speculating, but if he's not speaker, what else? What is he going to do? Then Rachel, do you think Rachel Koon is going to be speaker? Or because there are two things taking place: the removal and then the election of a new speaker. So can people agree? Okay, Fonati is no longer speaker, but the process that brought Rachel Koon, so we have to do it again because the 37 did not take part in that election. So, and then we talk about T5, who was being expelled from the CDC, and he said, "Wait, he said he want due process." He said he didn't get due process. Koffa said, "Oh, you didn't give me due process." So let's look at the future. It's another way.
No,
Let's look at the future of Richard, and put that in the face of 2029.
Right. Let me say this. First of all, I think Mr. Koon himself knows he's not going anywhere. I think if he knew You know, one of my friends was telling me today from Atlanta, he said, you know what? Koon has not reached out to Koffa yet because he's unsure of himself. Because if you really are the speaker now, you should be building bridges instead of suspending people and doing all of that. So I don't see him going beyond 4 months. But let me come back to Koffa. I said this on the show and somewhere else. What they're doing, they are unintentionally raising Koffa's stature. Do you understand me? Koffa is now becoming the symbol for respecting the rule of law. Why do you think the CDC is now gravitating towards him? When this thing started, the president was somewhere else. They didn't have time for Koffa. Nobody cared about Koffa, but now everybody's riding the Koffa support because everybody wants to ride a bandwagon. They see now that Koffa is leaving this with momentum. And I believe this is where he's going with this. Because if you remember the statement that he issued, he talked about in the next few days, he wants to discuss his transition. I think he knows he's not going to be the speaker, but he is making as much hay out of this and scoring as many points out of it as he can. And I think he should do so. But I don't think he's going to remain. He has lost the confidence of his colleagues. There's no way. I don't think he's going to rule the House anymore. And I think he knows that. So right now, he's just building his political capital, take it away as soon as they come and say, okay, you know what, for the sake of the nation, now you give me due process. Thank you very much. I'm out. If he does that, he's going to leave here with too much political capital. And I think the former president knows that. And that's why now he's suddenly coming to his defense because now he wants to ride his tailcoat. But I think Koffa and Wea and Boakai, if they're not careful, they will be the losers coming out of this.
How about T5? Quickly, 30 seconds.
Yeah, T5, he has his own peculiar problem. Right now, he's homeless. He doesn't have a home. He wants to be in the CDC.
You think he's going to join the UP?
And
with Boakai and Foya.
I mean, there's a photo of him bowing down to his uncle at the mansion. So it's likely he may go to join the UP. I don't know if the UP people will want him there, but he has some serious questions to answer. But
one thing is campaign song in Foya. I love that song. I've been looking for the full copy. I can't get it.
Yeah,
but if you get that, please send it to me at DJ Bulibo.
It's not as Superintendent Osano. I thought that was the email.
No, I do my when I'm not here I DJ Bulibo. Mr. Given, the future of T5, Koon and Koffa.
Well, Koon is I mean, he's insignificant. We don't.
Okay, let me throw DJ Blue in there.
Yeah. For a man who doesn't even know the difference of putting your right hand on the Bible and swearing, that says a lot about who he is. As far as Fonati Koffa is concerned, Fonati Koffa is now becoming, we are talking about the shining star in Liberia. And when the Supreme Court finally ruled and the United States and everybody now leaning toward the rule of law, as you see, it is his mantra now everywhere he goes. It is not about me. It is not about the speakership. It's about the rule of law. We got to respect the rule of law. And then you hear
since when?
Well, that's why he's been saying. Hey, that's why he's been saying. And then when you look on the front page of the paper from the U.S. Embassy, it says respect the rule of law. So everybody can say, listen, this man is riding this thing, and he's going to ride it to the detriment of a lot of folks. As far as T5 is concerned, he's done. Because first of all, the Constitution spells it out that when the president is incapacitated, the vice president, the speaker, if the speaker is incapacitated, the deputy speaker, but for some reason, he abrogated his ascension to that position. So what does that make him? I have no clue. So, but as far as we are concerned, he is going to be a member of the Unity Party, and the Unity Party saying themselves will not trust who he is, and he's just going to be between the twist.
Thank you, Mr. Dukley.
Well, this is what happened when you normalize these kind of things as a way of doing things. But Fonati should have been smarter earlier to see this coming. I mean, the two attempts the two examples that we know of, they both ended up with the speaker being removed. So I'm not even sure why he couldn't see this coming, even though from our perspective, he was on the side of the law. He was in the right as far as the Liberian laws are concerned. But again, this is a political game that we play every whenever there's a new administration. But I think in the long run, this would, I mean, eventually he's going to lose his speakership, which is obvious from the way things are unfolding. But he has come to, if anyone is going to come out of it as a winner, he's going to be one of the winners in the long run, as far as I can tell, because of the way things have now unfolded. The Supreme Court has spoken, and the presidency is now siding with the majority based on the way things are happening. And I can tell you, Dennis, between now and the end of this year, this saga is going to come to an end. A lot of people will defect to the so-called majority. They would have been won over, so that. But Koon, as a person, and his history, I don't think he's a formidable. He's going to be a formidable speaker, knowing the kind of person he was before he got to where he is. I can just foresee exactly what happened to Koffa happening to him, because it just takes one or two disgruntled people to say we don't want him, and they will create the atmosphere, because this is what we have come as a nation, as a politician. This is what we have come to normalize in our body politics. So we can say all what we want here, sit here in the comfort of the United States and Canada. But those guys on the ground there, they are there for themselves and themselves only. They couldn't give a hoot about what I say here or you say here. As long as their interest is not affected, that's what they would do. But again, you can even see, even George Weah did not have leverage to bring this whole nonsense to an end, because the people involved in it are bent to safeguard their own interests at the expense of the Liberian people. And so, like I said, we can sit there and say all what we want to say. The only people that they will listen to, or the only country that will make them say, to do what they need to say and what they need to do, is the great United States. And because of the level the United States has, this notion of sovereignty is a political talk, and I'm sure anyone who is saying it knows that it's a political talk, particularly when it comes to Liberia. Sovereignty, I mean, since when Liberia speaks of sovereignty? I mean, is it now that we're talking about sovereignty? Is it now that we know about sovereignty? So, I'm not one of those who, say we are going to see the rule of law. We only say it because it's written in our constitution. But we have, since the end of the war, we have never been a law-abiding country. Our politicians have not abided by our own laws. You see, police, I don't know, whoever. There was an incident where one of the legislators were driving the opposite way, and police officer couldn't dare stop him because he said he's above the law as far as he's concerned. This is what we have come to normalize in our country, post-war Liberia. I'm sorry to say it, but it's just. I mean, I don't see things getting any better.
Thank you. Please, if you want to join the conversation, if you want to join the debate, call 605-313-6004. The code is 791403#. Let me go to Fatima, the feature of T5, Koon, and Koffa.
I actually see. Go ahead. In the United States,
if you like, throw in DJ Blue. He was the last to go. And
he was the last to cross over. But next week, as I was telling you, a lot of more people they started speaking to their constituents because they have to do the work of the Liberian people, especially the budget for their different areas that they control. So by next week, a lot more people will join the majority bloc so they can move the country forward. Tifa, I actually believe that Tifa is a hero. I really do think so. He decided for the first time in his life to become an independent mind, not to be controlled by George Weah. Because in the CDC, no one shines first besides George Weah. George Weah was the best soccer player in the world. He was world best, Africa's best, Europeans best. But guess what? Not even one football academy in Liberia Nobody came out of Liberia besides him. He doesn't want anybody to outshine him. So he did not want anyone to outshine him in the CDC either. So for T5 to actually stand by the Constitution and the rule of law and to stand and make sure that this government did not go into a lockdown, I see him as a hero. Okay? DJ Blue, anybody that I see that pivoted. And when I'm telling you the truth, that's how I believe. You can have your opinion on the show and I can have mine. I see T5 as a hero, as someone who stood there and decided that, you know what, where the majority is going is where I'm going to go. He went.
You don't think because his deputy speakership was threatened?
Listen, T5 has done a lot for the CDC. When we started the CDC, T5 is one of the founding members of the CDC. So as much as he benefited from the CDC has benefited for him. The votes that we went to Lofa to campaign, the votes that T5 gave to the CDC, if it wasn't because of him, a lot of things were not going to happen. So y'all can discount him all you want. T5 is someone to be reckoned with in the CDC. That exposure to your
not in the CDC. Not in the CDC. Not in the CDC.
T5 2029. Y'all will see. Y'all will go crawling to. Y'all see T5 sweating. He beating no sweat because you know why you're coming on. Y'all know the whole DDP. Y'all know the background. Y'all know that George Weah does not want Fonati Koffa to become speaker, but you're not telling the truth. George Weah does not care. When Fonati his speakership was being threatened, what was George Weah? Ballon d'Or wedding. You were receiving Ballon d'Or ball somewhere in Europe. Then he come to say CDC depends on the speakership. So make sure the shift of power remains in our hand, that we can have some voice, some say in this government. No, he sat there, and not only did he receive the Ballon d'Or ball, wherever he got, he came back. Stop in Ghana to make jelly. By the time he came, Fonati was not breathing. So I beg you. And you're talking all the rule of law, the distance. In this particular 45 minutes, only United Partisans in there. Let's look at the same fair and square now. Only United Partisans there? No. Seditions are there. United Partisans are there. Other political Liberty Party people there. So all of them, you're not categorize them and call them anti-rule of law. They're not behaving. But guess what? It's all different political parties that came together to say that this man, they do not respect him anymore. They cannot sit on his gavel. They've lost his confidence. He has lost this one. I don't think it's over for him because as history can prove, what happened? They actually removed Snow. I mean, Snow resigned. When Snow resigned, they told him that he gotta go, he resigned. Where is he today? He's senator. Okay, Nukwe, when his time was over, where is he today? He's senator. Tyler. They removed Tyler. Where is he today? He said, it's not over. This man is a lawyer. He's a new lawyer. So for us to say, oh, his life over because the speakership does not belong to any one man. To serve in government is a privilege, an utmost privilege that can be afforded to any one of us on this platform. It's a privilege. And
Thank you.
Given the mentor of power, you should hold it and protect it. And he didn't. So I think that's it. This is not the end of Fonati Koffa.
Thank you. Let's be very brief so I can bring in my callers here. Mohammed.
Fatima is really, I mean, I like her, how she,
Mr. Sharif.
The chair waiting for you. The chair waiting for you.
T5, Koon, and Koffa.
Look, Dennis, I'm going to try to be brief, right? So Koffa, someone said, I think it was Jerome, Koffa has earned now a lot of political capital. And out of this issue, he is going to use that political capital. He is one of the most popular, he should be now, one of the most popular politicians in Liberia right now. I can't believe that I'm on the same side as Fonati Koffa. So independents like me.
Kabila Jana is on his side too. He's a liar.
Yeah.
Who?
He's on the right side, Dennis.
So he's on the right side. So you see, so he's on the right side. So people, look, when you see the right thing, it's not hard to see the right thing. But so I'm going to say that he has earned a lot of political capital Whether he's speaker or not, Brother Douglas is correct. He may not go on this for a long time because now people are going to come in to tell him, just let this go. Liberia, let bygones be bygones. Just let it go.
Well, 1 minute will soon finish.
Right. I'm getting there. So as far as Thomas Fallah is going to go down in the next election. He's not going to wrestle. His career is over. Okay, he's going to go down in the next. His career is over. I'm sorry, this is every 6 years, but the next term it will be defeated. Koon, I don't think he's significant. He's also going to lose. His career will be over the next election. So that's how these guys will go down in flames. The president is not running in 2029. Again, this president.
Be too sure. We saw it.
How you know? Anthony Cassidy just told me he's running. Where you coming from with this thing?
Okay, we'll see. But we'll see. So that's another conversation.
Thank you. I want to bring in some callers now. Caller with 267 area code. Your name and where you calling from?
Can hear him.
Yeah, go ahead. Please mute the device you're listening to and talk to us.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead. Your name and where you calling from?
I'm calling from Pennsylvania. My name is Sharif. I want to say hi to my brother Mohammed Sharif on the show there. I just wanted to...
Is a Sharif show today?
Don't be jealous, man.
Please start over. What's your name?
My name is Jiba Sharif. I'm calling from Pennsylvania.
Go ahead, Jiba.
That's my brother.
Yeah, listen, I don't understand why people are spending time on arguing about the speakership position in Liberia. I think what this whole thing transcends all of the parties that are involved in this. The accusation, the counter-accusation is what the focus of the Liberian people is supposed to be. What or who is speaker, that's immaterial to this whole thing. Look at what they are saying. The accusation they are throwing at each other. That is detrimental to the existence of our existence as Liberians. We don't have sitting schools. We are uneducated. We don't have proper health care immunities in the country. And then look at the money that these people are talking about that are being corrupt.
Yes.
That's the focus. And I put this squarely on the foot of the president. He was the one that was elected by the entire population of the Republic of Liberia. It's a breach of the Constitution if he does not address it to launch a full-scale investigation into the claim on both sides to make sure that the Liberian people benefit. That's my contribution. Who is speaker is immaterial. Who cares? Who cares?
Thank you. Thank you. Let me go to the 401-396-7716. Your name and where you calling from?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah.
Yes. My name is Sienna Dennis. I'm calling from Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
Go ahead, Ms. Dennis.
Yes. I just wanted to address what Fatima said. I've listened to her a couple of times on Spoon TV, and now she's here. Look, Fatima, we all follow Liberian politics. We will not be deceived by who is loudest. And I just want to commend the fellows that stood up. We women, we stand for equal rights. Everyone has emotional feelings. So this notion that she's having that, Thomas Fallah is right. He came over, he's speaking for himself. He's not speaking for himself. Fatima has interest in this current government. And we will not sit here, they be sitting on all these networks, they be deceiving us, telling us what we know. We all have families in Liberia. So you don't love Liberia as much as every one of us that have our struggling family members there. Because you have platform, you will not sit for you to be telling us what we know. And the fellow there was right. Most of these guys will not win election again. They will never win. Because it will cost some of us to leave from the states to go and tell our people. We will tell them, we are tired. We are very, very tired. You sitting here and telling us that, oh, the man is right. Uno Open wants to shine. Who told you Uno Open wants to shine? Open didn't stop anybody from now going to Europe to play football. He told someone like Zeze Robert. I'm a lover care. I know what I'm telling you. He took them to Europe. So don't bring everything to his feet and say because he didn't play football academy. When Joe Boakai government is doing wrong, speak to the fight. Just speak to the fight. You people were on Smooth TV supporting Joe Boakai government. See the shame. Don't even let your hair to something. Just deceive the Liberian people. Say all kinds of things.
Leave Fatima small now.
It's not fun. Actually, you talking about, oh, he was
So
here.
in trouble tonight.
What happened? And he invited Koffa to the UN Security Council. Who not to plan a coup d'etat against the man. Took him to a room. And he was asking it's a lifetime opportunity to see the Pope. You got your job, you left it, and you want to bring someone. We are not stupid anymore. We are tired.
Thank you.
So you stop these things.
Thank you, Sienna. And Koffa said he's not cuddly. Why are you doing going to see Pope?
He's a cuddly now.
You know why they've been doing these things? Other speakers are resigning. So they didn't see this coming. They wouldn't have plan A. They didn't have plan B and C.
Thank you.
Shouldn't resign. I supported. I didn't stay there. And the mutiny will not work.
Thank you.
When Snow resign, the other guy, Tyler, resign. But Koffa will not resign. Let's see where it will go.
Thank you.
Stop these things. For the people doing wrong, not because you have an ex-husband who got sent in the money in the government, so you will sit there and be telling us what we
Thank you, Sene.
Stop this thing.
Thank you, Sene. We will not talk about we will not talk about family now.
No family issue.
Yeah, no family. Let's talk about the issue. But thank you, Sene. Thanks for calling. Territor Lion Yakun, you have a minute.
Thanks very much, Dennis. Actually, one of the issues I want to address, related to Fatima, all these shows there, but I think our friend laid out already to her. But let me get a President Weah business. President Weah have fought enough to support Banati Koffa. We are the Congress for Democratic Change. We are the Congress. We have other people that were with us that broke away from us. Those that broke away from us, they refuse. Their lawmakers refuse to listen to President Weah. President Weah said it to the whole world. President Weah support Koffa. And when it comes to the CDC, people should start bring confusion between CDC, between Koffa and President Weah business. President Weah have no idea Koffa's business to get it. And President Weah support Koffa. But because no one listen to President Weah from the coalition, you know what there is that lawmakers behave like this. Okay? Right. So people shouldn't be going on all the shows and think that they can bring confusion between Koffa and we have no. That's not the case.
Thank you.
We're the CDCs, and we say we don't carry Koffa. President Weah is the sole stand-up bearer for movement from now. Nobody can change.
Let's speak to the issue we're talking tonight. Yeah, talk about the thing we're discussing here.
Yeah. What we discuss is that Koffa, when it comes to the rule of law, is there. But Liberian people begin they continue to twist the whole thing around. But people will stand by Koffa because of the law.
Thank you.
We need to support the rule of law
in
the country.
Thank you.
People should stop coming up with deception. It's so bad when a female being deceptive and being too aggressive.
Thank you.
Bro, you're not being right too. You need to talk to this female.
Mama, stop it, man.
You just buy wrong.
All right.
And Fatima cannot be coming to.
Okay, Joseph Garland.
Fatima, how about tonight?
Joseph, go ahead. The next caller.
Yeah, hello.
Go ahead. All right.
President, this going election to one of the female candidates in Liberia.
No, please start over, Joseph. With it. I didn't hear what you said. Go ahead.
I said the name may appear Joseph, but my name is Thomas Kura, former vice presidential candidate to one of the females in the Gulf elections in Liberia.
Oh, your name is you say Kura?
Hello?
Go ahead.
Thomas Kura.
Oh, Thomas Kura. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I listened. First of all, I know the last caller that spoke, the lady. I think she was being more emotional than discussing the issue, attacking personally, and I think that was not fair to the panelists. And so the issue that concerning the entire removal saga of the former speaker of Fanati Koffa, and we can clearly say that Fanati Koffa was probably engaged in removing people the similar way that he had been removed. And if you can recall, with the case of Kabina Janet, Fanati Koffa was the chair on the judiciary at that time, and he was the one that crafted the entire document that removed the associate justice illegally today. So you guys talking about the rule of law, you have Mr. Sherry, who have been very biased and that making almost talking about the rule of law, and if we're talking about the rule of law, let us be the judge here now. If you can recall, he was the one that crafted the document that removed the former associate justice, Justice Kabina Janet.
Maybe he finished repenting. Go ahead.
It's not about repenting. So it's clear, when we discuss here now, we should be discussing about how the lower house can go ahead to do the Liberian business.
Thank you.
Because it's important. He's a former speaker now. I mean, we have said it over and over, but you guys continue reiterating, reiterating. I mean, it's not necessary. Why can't we proceed to planning things that would benefit Liberia?
Thank you. Thank you. We have 2 minute callers. Let's limit to at least a minute. Joseph Colley, you're live.
Yeah, good evening to my brothers and sisters on the show, and to the Liberian people. Mr. Sheriff, I don't know, man. I know you fought it hard. You all stay in there, and we see our sisters. They're all fighting it to come. It's not easy to defend this government, man. Things have been real scattered. The rule of law is broken everywhere. We don't know where we are heading. We got some belligerent group calling himself self-proclaimed, leadership of bringing, I don't know what they call him, what kind of Koon to power. If to power in his authority, why is the president calling, Fanati Koffa to resign? So we got 2 speakers in the country now, right? And we got, I don't know how the old man, or I don't know, 45 or 46 years old, with all the experience, I don't know how he running the government. And other people will sit there and say he does not know what is going on. That's false. It's misleading. We are all level-headed, man. We're not crazy in this place. That the man will sit down and start misleading the people, and the kind of jungle justice that is going on, the kind of belligerent attitude. Because those are warlike attitudes. We done with those times. Election time is over, my people. Let's level our head to be able to help the nation. Our children are growing up. The war is over. We need to educate. You say you came here to educate the Liberian people and there is no school for the children? How are we running the country with all the better education that we say we have? Is this what we offer for the nation? This is where we're heading? This is what we want to do for our children in the next 15 years to come? Other countries that we are the oldest republic in Africa, and we are sitting now, all the thing is unfolding before our eyes. Then we sit down there and we say, yeah, we're doing right for the people. We all love the nation, man. Let's be serious and speak to our people when they are wrong. It is wrong. Nobody, I don't know Fanati Koffa, I don't know where he's from, how old is he, where he went to school, but it's about the rule of law for the nation. You stand up for.
Thank you.
So that we can have our right.
Thank
we
you.
will not infringe on our people's right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
God bless you all.
Thank you. Ellis, you have a minute. Let's be very brief. I have more callers. Go ahead, Elvis.
All right. Are you getting me?
Yes, sir.
Hello to you and hello to the panelists. Look, I'm just excited for Liberia. I'm so very, very happy. You know, our country is going in the right direction. You know, gangsterism is the order of the day. Strong arming people out of power is the order of the day. So those who are supporting these actions, who are in the best interest of the Liberian people and supporting these actions, when it flips and somebody else removes somebody from power with strong arm, nobody should be against it. Nobody should be against it. This road that we're going down always leads us to the right place. It always does. It gives us what we really want. And that's violence, that's war, that's destruction. So I like it. You know, the chances of war in Liberia is relatively low, but it's never zero. So if we keep encouraging these kind of behavior, the things that we want deep down in our heart, but we're not professing it with our lips, it will come to pass. And when the war comes, then we'll be crying and say, it shouldn't have come this far. The people, they didn't deserve to die. That's the words that will be coming out of people's mouths. So thank God for what's going on. We pray that it go through the way the government wants it to go through.
Thank you.
At the end, we'll get the mighty reward. So thank you for taking my call. I just want to make those 2 points.
Thank you. 612 area code 559. Your name and where you calling from?
This is Mohammed Abdullah calling from Minnesota.
Go ahead, Mohammed.
I just want to commend you tonight for bringing my cousin to your show. At least she gave you a hard number tonight for the first time. And I also want to appreciate my mentor, Brother Mohammed Sharif. The politics in Liberia, I don't know. People take it so personal. Fatuma has the right to express herself. She supports the United Party. I don't support the United Party, but I respect her. But I think when people come, I see some people coming personally to come and attack her on the show. That is not fair to her at all. Let disagree to agree. Let us respect other people's opinion, even if we disagree with them. Thank you. I take my answer up there.
Thank you. Let's go to the former TLA member, James Lassa, and former chairman, Eula Ball.
Oh, Lord.
Mr. Lassa, you're alive.
Yeah, thank you, Dennis. I'm calling from Baltimore. I want to commend Fatima and encourage her to stay on the show. You have much more there to gain than to lose as compared to other shows. Women are highly respected on this show. So I encourage you to continue to find a way to appear on this show as often as possible. You are strong. We need your voice. Don't be carried away by what much you hear on our show there. Some of them are, I think, basically, very honestly, others, they are motivated very politically, let me say. But look, then it's on the issue regarding what is going on. It just said that there are some people who are trying to lionize a man who is a known international criminal and also accused of committing crimes in Liberia, stealing from poor people, collecting $7 million of all of the budget, and all of that. The fact is that what is going on is a completed political plot. The Supreme Court rendered a ruling, and that ruling was very wise and prudent. The court said it was ultra-virus to have two sittings. Of course, it is lawless to have two sittings. And the court went on to tell you there should be only one sitting, and it told you what will meet the quality, the satisfaction of that sitting. The sitting should have quorum, it should have presiding officer, it should have chaplain, it should have chief clerk, and it should have sergeant at arms. You need to look and see why the court was moving that. It's easy to know. Ultra-virus does not mean the proper sitting is not legal. It's that two sittings. The conduct of two sittings at the same time is ultra-virus. Simple as that. Koffa will need to go. He's been defeated. It's over. JMB is actually displaying classic, highly commendable leadership in that country. He's not.
Mr. Lassa, have you read the full reading? Or have you read the full opinion?
Hold on, let him finish.
No, I want to ask you whether he read the full ruling.
Let him finish.
Then Victor, he's a troll. He's a troll. He doesn't need to read. He's a troll.
Yeah, go ahead, James. Please end your thoughts.
James is a troll.
The issue at JMB is doing well. We see the results. The price of gas has gone down. The price of rice has gone down. The U.S. rate is going down. I mean, just everywhere you look is down. You're not speaking as if there's a communication problem.
And the country going down.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Lassa.
He's a troll.
Let me bring you the last caller here. That's Flomo Livingstone. Flomo. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the show, Mr. Jai. I want to tell Fatima, thank you for representing me. Look, I can't believe some people on the show that why the police went to the Capitol. What's the role of the police? People say on the show and say the police don't need to go there. The police job is to protect life and property. You saw the lawless from Nati, the former speaker of Koffa and Koon, breaking chairs, throwing chairs at police, bulging people's tires, locking doors. I mean, they fan for other people to enter. That's complete lawlessness. And you want the police to sit down and watch so someone can get hurt? What his name? Yeke Kurba and so his men were arrested with knives in their hand. I mean, about Melvin Ko, not Yeke Kurba, Melvin Ko, and his guys were arrested with knives in their hand at the Capitol. So how you call it? You wanted the police to wait and then someone can lose their life before they go there? Let's be serious here. Look, Koffa is a former speaker. We just have to move on. All he's doing is just try to save face. At the end of the day, you go sit like the rest of the guys to do the level point job. I mean, the ultra virus, some people did not say the majority black or the former speaker black. All they said was, no, the people are doing the level point job. Up to now, people say two speakers. If there two speakers, then why Fonadi Koffa is not doing business? Why he not going to sit? Because he doesn't have no quorum. He's not a speaker. He's a former speaker, and he need to move on. And the people that are on the show say the law. Please, not the law. The only reason for Fonadi Koffa crying was because he affecting him. If we're not affecting him, he wouldn't speak up. He talk about room 1020, I know room 1026. The reason he talk about room 1026 is because he is being affected. That's why he's talking about room 1026. All the people that are on that, on his list, they all will be removed from that position. Because if the people are not working the thing, and we see the list that just came out with people on his list. Thank you for the show.
Thank you. Thank our caller. That's all the callers we have. And at this time, we're going to close. So we'll go around the room for your closing comment. Again, I appreciate all of you coming tonight. Let's start with, and let's use 39 seconds each for the closing comment. Let's start with Mohammed. This will be a test.
Why not 40 or 39?
Right.
I mean, I teach math, so round numbers for people who don't know math.
Okay. well, hey, Mr. Sherry, the number to move Fonati Koffa is 49. So you get 49 seconds.
49 seconds. Okay, so again, this is Liberia. We always, when given the opportunity, Liberia has always had the proclivity in recent time to invite upon itself trouble. Taylor did this. Other administrations have done this. George Weah tried this in removing Kabina Jane unconstitutionally for no reason and didn't listen to ECOWAS. This administration is doing the same now, attempting to remove a legitimate speaker, bribing lawmakers, who should go to jail. They should be investigated and go to jail for taking the Liberian people money for political reasons to overthrow their speaker. Speaker Koffa has earned now a lot of political capital, and he is going to, I hope that he is going to use this political capital in the next years to come, in the next months and years to come, to put himself in a better position in 2028 and 2029, because I am very disappointed now in the Unity Party leadership that they are going down this route. And this is a recipe for disaster for the Unity Party. This is a recipe for chaos for the country, more especially. I'm concerned about Liberia. I'm concerned that, I'm very disenchanted that Joseph Boakai is using this time, not serving the poor masses, but trying to remove the speaker, the legitimate speaker. And we're going down this rabbit hole. It's very disenchanting for me.
Thank you.
Bad.
Thank you. It will be Fatima, and then Mr. Dukley, Mr. Gaiman, and then Victor, and then we close.
So I would just like to say hi to the panelists, and I would like to say thank you so much for having me. Ja, thank you for inviting me. It's always good to talk everything Liberia. Liberia is the only country that all of us on this panel share. And there are some great things that this government, and I heard people talking about, what the government is doing. The government is going to be failing, blah, blah, blah. But there are some great things that this government is doing, and we do not want this entire speaker debacle to stall this government and try to hijack our people. Right now in Liberia, the payroll has been cleaned up. A lot of ghost names have been taken off the payroll. Water and sewer has been rehabbed. New airlines and air service agreements have been are in place. Salary adjustments, people are getting paid right now for Christmas as we speak. All of the different arrears that we owe all over the world, the different embassies, all of them have been brought current. Students that are overseas that are learning, all their bills are now current. There have been labor reforms. There are road rehabs currently going on, and more to go on with the yellow machines coming out. There have been centralized communication system. Like I said, there are police reforms right now. All of the students in Liberia, the president have ordered new desks for all MCSS school system. 6,000 arrived 2 weeks ago to revamp the education system. Youth capacity building is going on. The president's trying to make sure. He came to Georgia Tech. He got a lot of scholarship for students here, and we're working on implementing that. Right now, the president has made WISE fees current. $3.5 million he just recently paid to ensure that WISE fee is current. 700, like I talk about the road, 703.5 kilometers of road in Bunk, Lofa, Bumi, Bapolu, Nimba, Grand Jide, River G, Grand Bassa, Sino, Maryland counties, and Grand Hope counties are going to be ongoing. The overpath will be built. They have signed the contract, work commences in February of next year. So there are a lot of good things that are coming out of this government. It's not being showcased, that people are not talking about. And we want to strangulate the government just because of one man. So all of the viewers and the panelists, you might not like what we say, but the fact remains that Speaker Koffa is a thing of our past. He is no longer speaker. We do have a new speaker, and his name is Richard Koon. Like it or not, the Liberian people move. Our job, our president's job, is to ensure that all Liberians are treated fairly and equally. Our country rises, agriculture, our arrest agenda progresses. And those are the things that we are working on. I'm on my way to Liberia in a few days to go and join my president, to go to Lofa County, to try and start our arrest agenda with our agriculture project. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we thank you for inviting us on this platform. It's always a pleasure to talk to distinct individuals like yourselves and be a panelist amongst you. To the Liberian people, I say thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and thank you for making informed decisions. Second, the last thing I would like to say is never, ever an issue when someone comes and attack me. Please don't feel sorry for me, because for me, they don't know me personally. So it's an attack at me and not to me. So I never take it personal. I laugh. And especially when I see another woman come and attacks me, women are supposed to stick together. They're supposed to ensure, even if you disagree with me, be respectful, because I am. I will always smile. I will always laugh. Every time you see me, I read it. The comments from the people, I always smile, because you know what? You have a right. When you are speaking, people have a right to critique you. People have a right to disagree and agree with you. So panelists, thank you for inviting me. It will be my pleasure to come back again so we can talk everything Liberia. I appreciate each and every one of you.
Thank you, Fatima. Thank you very much. I think Dennis is tied up.
Sister, we said, come on, Masawe.
But
Can I move out far away?
can you send me that bullet point that you were reading from? It's very nice. Send me that.
No, Wallo is planning to send the list. Listen, I think Dennis is tied up now, so I'll take us home. Let's try to keep it 39 minutes. Thank you, Fatima. I think he already established the order. Jerome, was it you coming up next, or
Jerome closing?
Yes.
Jerome closing. He says.
Okay.
Yeah, I can go. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, please.
Okay. Fatima, thank you very much. When I used to defend George Weah, Mohammed Sharif used to be sweating bullets because he says, you just defend this guy. So that's what you do when you believe in somebody. It's your job to defend them. It's not that they will be always right, but you hope that the good will, override the bad. So Fatima, thank you very much. But let me bring you back to somebody's
39 minutes. 39 minutes. Seconds.
Yeah, 39 minutes. Yeah, 39 minutes. That's very good. Thank you very much. Now, one of the things we need to talk about that Fatima and everybody else, and I talk about the constitutional crisis that is about to arise. If you expel or suspend people for 3-4 months, you are disenfranchising that particular district of 20, 40, 60,000 folks, right? Now, we can say now, our district will not pay taxes to the government because we're not going to do taxes without representation. If you expel our mayor that we elected for 5 months without pay and he cannot serve us, we may decide not. So you're talking about constitutional crisis all over the country.
They will send the police there too to arrest those
Yeah,
people.
then you're talking about the police. There's a difference between the city police and the Capitol Police. The Capitol Police job is to protect the Capitol and its surrounding. The city police is not allowed there. It's the same format here in the United States. So I don't know why they're confusing this thing. What we could do, I just went on his, someone just sent me his platform. I went to LinkedIn. This guy says he has a PhD from the University of Michigan. I was shocked. Has a PhD online from Michigan, a master's degree from Fallah University online. So here you go. But anyway, now you talk about accomplishment. Thank you very much for the yellow machines that were brought in the country. That's a major scam. The scholarship that you just unveiled a few weeks ago, you came back, you say it was a scam. They busted from Ghana. So Fatima, y'all gotta do better. Spoon just said it today on his show. He said the LTA, the minutes that we're talking about, people minutes being taken away, people data being stolen. They said they met with the president. And these people convinced Boakai to allow them to do this for 30 days, and they will raise $6 million and the data within 30 days. Isn't this fiasco? But anyway, it's not here to beat on the president, but hopefully he will do well. Koon, when the Supreme Court rules on behalf of Fonati, I don't know what you guys are going to do, but it's going to be terrible for the renegades. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jerome. Duke, have you closed yet?
Oh, no.
No, not yet. Okay. I just want to say thank you to all my fellow panelists. And I'm glad to see Sister Cherie back again. I think we met once on another program hosted by Dennis, I believe it was. But, in this particular instance, I will differ with you. And it's only part of the political dialogue. But I can tell you what I heard you describe. It seems like not the Liberia I know, or not the Liberia that I've looked at very closely. Because the thing that you were just enumerating there, and the progress, you see, it reminds me of the just ended election in America, where even though the current president-elect promised in the moon, very, very soon, buyer remorse is gonna sink in very soon. And so in Liberia today, day-to-day living is a struggle. And I don't know if it's what is it? Or they live on less than $1 a day, something like that. So we are supposed to be the people that say what we think Liberia should be. And I think I must admit, Gaiman did a good job defending the Weir government, and I must give him credit. He did criticize where he should criticize. He did that on this very platform that I was part of. So I also expect that for people who are Unity Party supporters, and I think to a large extent, Brother Sharif has also done that. But you see, at the end of the day, what matters is what has Liberia as a nation benefited? What as a nation Liberia has become? To be honest, Liberia has been a victim of all of this. And whether we are on opposite sides, there's no, I mean, you cannot deny the fact that Liberia is not progressing. You can't deny that. From Ellen Johnson Sirleaf to George Weah and now to Joseph Boakai. And I'm not saying this because I'm very glad to say this. No, it is just the unfortunate reality of our country that we all love. I'm sorry, look, we should have been far away from where we are today in 2024, ladies and gentlemen. But we have not had the leadership that has the vision that Liberia needs. We have not had the leadership that Liberia requires in this moment of our lives. After having had almost a decade of destructions, I think the trajectory doesn't look good. And until Joseph Boakai is going to be a one-term president, and so we look forward to a leadership that is going to take us forward. And all these things that we've come to normalize, we try to undo some of them so that we can do better for ourselves. Remember, we are only 170 some more years old, and you still have 48% of our people illiterate. Like only 48% of Liberians are literate, 48%. And I look up Ghana was 80. I mean, you know what? Liberia was one of the countries, if not the only country, that supported most of, if not all of these countries to gain independence. And look at where they are today, and look at where we are. And I don't like for people to use the 40 years of war as an excuse. What happened to the ones before the 40 years of war? What did we do? So I just hope that someone somewhere is listening, and some sanity can prevail in Liberia. Thank you, my fellow panelists.
Thank you very much, Jude. Wallace is pretty busy tonight. That's what's lovely. But listen, thank you all very much. Great show. Fatima, thank you for joining us and at least bringing a female angle to the show tonight. We appreciate it. Listen, I'm a big fan. I follow you on the other network whenever I can. I think you bring a lot to the table. Call, you're a colleague here. I think I've joined you once or twice on the network here. You bring a lot to the table, a lot of intelligence. But tonight, you and Fatima and the rest, I am so disappointed that you guys are on the wrong side of this issue. You are on the wrong side of the issue. You argue that Tyler was removed, Snow was removed. But where are they? They've all been sanctioned. You understand me? We don't need Uncle Sam to come to Liberia and tell us to do the right thing when we know what the right thing is. And the way this group is going, don't be surprised if you find a lot of them on the sanction list again. Because why? They are operating outside of the law. And it is embarrassing. They embarrass us. You understand me? Bunch of people over there in Capitol building, they know the right thing, refusing to do the right thing, and we are enabling them where you will continue to tell them this is right. Yes, Fonati is an undesirable. I get it. But they elected him. Right. And that's what was wrong. Right. When are we going to step to these people and tell them to do the right thing? So I admire the two of you. I respect your intelligence, but I flat out disagree with your position on this issue. And I think the future will bear us out. Again, great show. Thanks for the input, gentlemen. Let's do this again. God bless. Jerome, I believe you're taking us home.
Thank you, everybody.
What's that? I'm done.
Did you go?
Yes. He's gone.
I'm done.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll tell you what. My sister here, you're going to Liberia when?
Next week, God willing.
Oh,
be safe out there.
Listen, we pray for your safe travel and return. You're going to have a great time. Hopefully, I will be there January 6th. Hopefully, we can
You will meet me. You will meet me. I'll come back in February, so you will meet me.
Oh, okay, great. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as they say, whether you from Liberty Party, you from the ruling party, you from no party, you from independent party, we are all Liberian. What we do here is because we love our country. There is nobody here that is unpatriotic. Coming on these shows to opine tells us that you love your country, you are willing to defend what you believe in, and it's a great thing. I admire you, Sister Fatima. Continue what you are doing. Mr. Dukley, thank you very much. And the progressive over there, thank you very much for what you do. As always, Mr. Sharif, you surprised me. You surprised me, but actually, you are intellect. And as always, we say we are all Liberians. So let's go home with a beautiful song that says we are all Liberians.
We are Liberians. Liberia is our home. Liberian people. Liberia.